Just a few days to go till Christmas now. As you can see, I've got the tree behind me. We've got all the presents under it. The family's all arriving in the next couple of days. No doubt we'll all be arguing like crazy by the time we've been around each other for about 24 hours. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun, isn't it? I've been out shopping all day today. I've still got a bit of a throaty cough going on. I can't get rid of it. I just wanted to say thank you for all of your great messages about the Heron story that I told. You know, that heron that's landed now right by my house in London twice in the last 2 weeks. The mother of my children said she thought that maybe my mother had sent the heron to look after me because it signifies change, it signifies new beginnings, it signifies all kinds of things. And so many of you resonated with that, and so many of you have sent me some lovely messages. I'm just going to read some of them out to you for a bit of an update, because obviously I'll keep you informed when I see the heron next. I'm going to be back in London tomorrow. And let's see if he shows up. This is from Aileen Kelly. A day ago she sent me this. I'm happy you mentioned this topic, Mike. Every time my mother sees a red bird, she says, that's my father or my daughter, in which I lost several years ago. She always seems happier when she sees a red bird. Whether it be a bird, an animal or a shiny penny, our loved ones give us signs they're still near. I bought her a red bird sculpture. She keeps it on her nightstand. Interesting. My sister similarly loves owls, and my mother used to love owls and used to always keep an owl in every room of the house. Firehorse said this: I had a heron sit on my shed for an hour in the summer. He stared at me for ages. I then got wonderful news not a couple of weeks later. Symbolism is everywhere. This one from Colette, who says, your mum looks like a really fun character, and I'm sorry for your loss, Mike. She is defo still in touch. Lovely. Michelle says this: thank you for your heron information. It does seem to match your situation. Add him as your new site's mascot. All this knowledge is fascinating. Well, there are things that we can't really explain and we can't understand. And we are going to get a heron for a mascot and put him on the desk in the studio. That's what I promise you. Julia says this: I have the same thing with a sparrowhawk. One appearing on the garden fence the day after my dad died. And my mother called us into the kitchen and said, look, there's Dad. A sparrowhawk has appeared many times over the years in all sorts of places, and it gives me great comfort. Also keep coming across a famous poem called The Windhover. Same thing, really. Take it as a sign of love. Jackie says, I believe it's your mum, Mike. On the last holiday I shared with mine before she was killed in a car crash, we had a laugh watching a dandelion scene on a leaf floating on a river, saying Winnie the Pooh was needed with his poo sticks. A few months later, after we lost her, I was waiting to take a driving test on a hot day, so the car windows were open, and a dandelion seed floated by, drifted around the interior, then went out the other window. I passed the test. Had many similar experiences since. They symbolise resilience and carry thoughts and tiny messages from loved ones. Loving your show. Couple more. One from Nuala. The second day my mother was in hospital, I sat outside with a cup of tea and a heron appeared. He came every day for 12 weeks. I was convinced this was a good sign, and he only stopped appearing when she was home for a week, terminally ill, 8 weeks max. Lasted 4 years. I was comforted. And Tony Smith, who's paid for a super chat, by the way. Great job, Mike. My mornings are back to some semblance of normality, though I can't wait for the full 4 hours again. We'll get back to that at some point. If you don't know about the super chat, by the way, check it out on YouTube, because you can just give us a little bit of money and we'll put your messages right to the very top of the queue. Finally, one from Ellen. It says, my partner of 40 years died. I was walking our dogs the next day and a robin landed on the hedgerow and sat there for ages, looking, and then it sang. I felt convinced it was my partner. I never saw it again in that setting, but I spoke to the hedge each day for ages. When you lose something or someone, it changes you and you are never the same person. I had one other experience when walking the path of a walk that my partner did every morning. I felt them land in my chest. I know people will say, oh yes, as I would have to, but the person you lost resides in you and you both continue to walk the earth together. I'm convinced of it. I'm no longer a doubting Thomas. So, you know, you never know, do you? I mean, we're going to continue with these kinds of stories because that's what we like to do on the Mike Graham Show. It's not just about politics. It's not just about the useless government we've got. It's not just about the everyday news stories that we talk about. It's about you, and it's about life, and it's about everything. So we'll keep doing that. So keep tuning into the Mike Graham Show. We'll see you soon.